Do Chinese cars have a rust problem?
Australia's new car market is booming with Chinese brands, but its vehicles rust, while drivers are in a fight for refunds.
Massive scale, intense price pressure. That's surprising, but it does reflect the reality of today's EV market.
The short answer is yes, some of them absolutely do, and the evidence is mounting. But this story is far more nuanced than a simple yes or no, because we've seen this exact situation play out before, decades ago, with a country whose cars are now considered among the most reliable on Earth. Start with what we actually know. In early 2025, the Lamarck Automobile Anti-Corrosion Center in Russia conducted a study across 26 regions, covering 17 Chinese brands. The results were striking. Some Chinese models had received no anti-corrosion treatment whatsoever, and under Russian weather conditions, those cars showed a corrosion lifespan of just 2 to 5 years. Compare that to European brands, whose galvanized steel lasts roughly 12 years untreated and up to 22 years with proper anti-corrosion coatings. That's 2 to 4 times longer than their Chinese equivalents. Russia is an extreme case, of course. Harsh winters, heavy road salt, massive temperature swings. The sodium chloride in de-icing salt is particularly aggressive, accelerating electrochemical corrosion on any exposed metal surface. But similar reports have been surfacing in the UK and Germany, where damp weather and winter salt create their own relentless assault on metal. Owners of the MG ZSEV, the MG4, and the MG5 have raised concerns about corrosion appearing on underbodies, weld seams, rocker panels, and structural components. In New Zealand, a BYD Atto 3 owner had to have a large portion of the vehicle repainted due to rust, a job estimated at several $1,000s that was ultimately covered by the manufacturer. Russian body repair expert Yaroslav Kukarin put it plainly. Modern Chinese cars live longer than they used to, but their rust protection still doesn't reach the level of many Japanese or German brands. The problem, he says, is the manufacturer's desire to save on anti-corrosion treatment.
Sales of Chinese cars in Russia have dropped sharply as Moscow moves to curb car imports and boost its domestic auto industry.
And that desire to save money leads us to something important. In March 2025, Great Wall Motor chairman Wei Jianjun made a remarkable public admission saying that car rusting among Chinese vehicles is not simply a craftsmanship issue but potentially a design flaw. He went further, warning that the relentless price war in China's auto industry, now in its second year, has forced some manufacturers to cut corners or even engage in fraud. His exact words were chilling. Once a quality crisis is triggered, it is ultimately the consumers who will have to pay the price. Think about what that means. The price competition that has made Chinese cars so attractively affordable might be directly undermining the quality that buyers in the UK, Australia, and Northern Europe depend on for long-term ownership. The numbers from Russia back this up dramatically. Chinese cars now account for 50% of new car sales there and 70 to 80% of the taxi fleet, but their service life runs roughly 93,000 miles compared to 155 to 186,000 miles for European and American brands. Analysts have calculated that maintaining a Chinese car after 5 years of operation can exceed the price of a new vehicle. Sergei Kogogin, CEO of Russian truck maker KAMAZ, has gone so far as to say Chinese cars are not at all suitable for Russia, citing insufficient anti-corrosion protection and vibration resistance. So what's actually going wrong at a technical level? Expert Alexander Gubanov identified the roof as one of the first areas to rust on Chinese cars, where lower quality metal creates a vulnerable zone at the junction with the windshield, constantly bombarded by small stones. On the BYD Atto 3, design features like drainage channels, seal seams, and layered panels can trap moisture and encourage corrosion. The consensus among owners who've experienced these problems points to inadequate metal preparation before painting as the likely root cause. Specifically, that preparation process should involve a phosphate conversion coating applied to the bare body in white, which is the industry term for the unpainted steel structure. followed by cataphoretic e-coat or electro-deposition painting, where the entire shell is submerged in a paint bath and an electrical charge drives the primer into every seam and cavity. Without that proper e-coat foundation, the steel simply isn't being adequately protected before the top coat paint goes on. And critically, where zinc-based galvanization is applied, it works through cathodic protection, meaning the zinc acts as a sacrificial anode, corroding in place of the steel beneath it. Skip or thin that zinc layer to save costs, and you've removed the entire protective mechanism. If you're finding this video useful, make sure to subscribe to Chinese Car Insider. We cover the real stories behind Chinese cars, the ones other channels won't tell you. Now, here's where this story gets genuinely fascinating, because everything described so far, every single criticism, was said almost word for word about Japanese cars in the 1970s. In that era, Japanese automakers used thinner, lower-grade steel to keep costs down. Their cars were cheaper than American and European alternatives, but they rusted catastrophically. Models like the early Datsun 510, the first-generation Honda Civic, and early Toyota Corollas sold well on price, but practically dissolved in wet climates. The early 70s produced nearly 15 years of rust-vulnerable Japanese automobiles. Living on an island nation constantly battered by salty sea air, Japan had long struggled with corrosion. And when those cars reached markets like the American Midwest or the British Isles, they practically dissolved. Japan didn't accept that reputation. Intent on building a stronger domestic steel industry, Japanese manufacturers approached galvanization with enormous determination, investing in hot-dip galvanization and later full electro-galvanizing processes across their production lines. By the mid-1980s, Japanese cars had completely shed their reputation for rusting and started putting real pressure on Detroit to follow suit. Today, a 30-year-old Toyota Hilux from that generation can still be running with minimal corrosion. The turnaround was total. That historical parallel is critical for understanding where Chinese cars might be heading. The question isn't really whether Chinese cars have a rust problem today. They clearly do, at least certain models in certain markets. The real question is whether Chinese manufacturers will follow Japan's path and fix it. There are reasons for cautious optimism. BYD says its cars meet strict international corrosion standards and uses electro-galvanizing with a uniform zinc coating. And when problems have been reported, they've honored warranty claims and sent local teams to inspect. Many Chinese cars have shown significant improvement in chassis rust prevention, with models like the Omoda 8, the BYD Tang series, and the Haval H6 performing well. Leading manufacturers have invested billions in state-of-the-art production facilities with higher levels of automation than many older European or American plants. And in Euro NCAP safety testing, Chinese brands are now regularly achieving 5-star ratings. But there are also reasons for concern. That 7-year corrosion warranty MG advertises mainly covers perforation, meaning through-body corrosion, where rust eats completely through the panel from the inside out, and surface oxidation, the kind of rust you can actually see forming on exterior surfaces, may not be covered at all. Those are two very different standards, and buyers should understand which one their warranty actually protects against. The ongoing price war, which even China's People's Daily newspaper has condemned, creates constant pressure to cut costs. And the sheer number of brands, 60 Chinese marques now competing in Russia alone compared to 16 before 2023, means quality control varies enormously from one manufacturer to the next. So what does this mean if you're considering a Chinese car in the UK, Australia, Canada, or Northern Europe? A few practical things worth knowing. Not all Chinese cars are equally affected. Reports remain relatively rare compared to total sales, and many owners have zero issues. Some even report that Chinese-built Tesla Model 3s are better assembled than American ones. Climate matters enormously too. In mild, dry weather, corrosion may not appear for 7 or 8 years. In Scotland, the north of England, or anywhere with heavy winter salting and sodium chloride road treatment, problems could surface in 3 to 4 years. If you're buying a Chinese car today, independent underbody protection is a worthwhile investment. The fact that a Russian anti-corrosion center discovered these issues might raise an eyebrow, given that they also sell anti-corrosion products. But their findings align with what owners across multiple countries are independently reporting. And be very cautious about buying a used Chinese car, especially one that's been through several salty winters. The long-term durability data simply doesn't exist yet. The bottom line is this: Chinese cars have a documented rust problem on certain models, particularly in harsh climates, and the industry's brutal price war is making it worse. But Japan faced this identical crisis 50 years ago, with the Datsuns and Civics and Corollas of that era earning a reputation they worked decades to reverse, and transformed itself into the gold standard for automotive durability. Chinese manufacturers have the technology, the capital, and the manufacturing capability to do the same. Whether the economics of their current price war will let them is the question that matters most. And right now, it's the one that nobody can answer with certainty. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you make a more informed decision, subscribe to Chinese Car Insider and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive into the Chinese car market.